17 kids randomly vanished at 2:17 a.m. except for one. Today, we're reviewing Weapons. What's going on, guys? My name is Kyle. Welcome back to the Jedi Junkyard. Today we're reviewing Weapons, and this movie got me a little creeped out. I personally don't love horror movies just because I'm scared of them, and so I was a little skeptical to go see this movie. A couple of my friends were dying to see it. It got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, so I said, what the heck, let's go. Now, I wouldn't classify this movie as just a horror movie. I would almost classify it as a horror, thriller, suspenseful type of movie. I thought I was walking straight into a horror movie, so the whole time I'm just waiting to get, like, absolutely, I don't know, creeped out to the max. We have Julia Garner playing Justine, the teacher of that classroom where all the kids went missing. And then we have Josh Brolin playing Archer, who was the father of one of the kids in that classroom. We also have Alden Ehrenreich, who plays a cop who is an ex-junkie who was also an ex of Justine's in the movie. So the movie takes place from like 5 different POVs. This is the first time I've seen a movie like this, and I honestly love that style. Every scene in this movie had me like shivering and like fear that may or may not come. So now in this movie, Justine, the teacher, is getting blamed for all these kids going missing because no parent has a clue on why their child would just go running like this in the wind at night. A couple of the parents have Ring cameras who caught the whole footage, and that's where Josh Brolin's character Archer comes in. He tries to compare video to video. Some parents are reluctant to even give them the video information. So obviously through all this amount of pressure, Justine kind of crumbles, starts drinking alcohol, and kind of just tries to distance herself from the situation, which doesn't work well because Josh Brolin's character Archer goes and ding dong ditches her house and then spray paints Witch on her car, which he drives around for the whole movie. And for all my Marvel friends out there, Benedict Wong is in this movie and he kills the role. He plays a principal who is just trying to calm the situation down because obviously all the parents are going to the school wondering what happened to their child. He's more or less on the side of Justine where he thinks that, she probably didn't do this, but no one has a clue what happened, so you have to be skeptical when you are the principal of the school. So the one child that didn't disappear at 2:17 a.m. was Alex Lilly. Justine has been told to stay away from Alex during the whole investigation, and of course she doesn't. When she gets to Alex's house, she rings the doorbell and no one answers. The lights seem to be off, and she looks on the windows. There's newspaper covering the windows everywhere, and she just was kind of like, well, this is odd. She goes around the back of the house, and there's a little crack and a seam through the window where the newspaper kind of meets. She looks in, no one's there. I think everyone in the theater was waiting for a jump scare, and it didn't happen. The camera pans back to Justine, back to the room, and then there's 2 people just standing or sitting like this, looking straight ahead, just straight-faced. She obviously gets scared, kind of runs away, and then we go into a different POV. So the cop, Paul, in the movie, he was Justine's ex. He is now in a relationship with somebody else, but Justine needs someone at this moment. She sees Paul during the day and actually texts him that night to go meet at a bar. He's a recovering alcoholic, an addict, so he goes to AA meetings, and she, tries to get him to drink. Moral of the story, they end up spending the night together, and Paul messed up. Justine is walking into the liquor store the day after, and Paul's fiance, I believe, or girlfriend, comes in the store and dumps a bottle of vodka, rum, or tequila on Justine. So obviously, Paul is trying to help Justine in some way, where he knows she didn't do anything, so he starts investigating. Moral of the story, he ends up back at Alex's house to look around. He goes to knock on the door, and he's having a conversation, and he walks in. And then he just isn't coming out. Or kind of to backtrack a little bit, we see that there is a criminal, kind of like an odd character, just kind of there, where he's not supposed to come back, and during this time of being at the house, he is in the back seat. So when Paul goes into the house and doesn't come back out, he's just stuck in handcuffs in the cop car. The middle of the night, all of a sudden, the criminal looks up and Paul is there in the doorway. This time, it's not Paul. He starts charging at him. So that criminal gets dragged into the house as well, and then the door shuts. So Justine and Archer are arguing at a gas station as Archer approaches her because of he thinks that she did something to his kid. And Benedict Wong's character Andrew is supposed to be kind of settling things down, but we see Andrew, the principal, in the middle of the day running for Justine. And this is a normal Andrew. His eyes are bulging, he's bleeding on top of his head, and he's running like the kids with his arms out like this. He knocks over Justine, he hits Archer, and it's just madness. Justine gets away and ends up running into the liquor store, where she's still chased again and again, around and around, while Josh Brolin's character Archer is trying to prevent him from doing that. Justine ends up getting in the car, and Wong is still chasing after her. She's driving away, and he's right behind her. Archer gets in his truck and starts chasing after Andrew, who is just straight up running into oncoming traffic. He gets hit by a car, and he is deceased. But no one knows why he would do that or want to do that, and why was his eyes bulged. We find out before that Andrew, the principal, had an interview or a conference with Alex's, the kid, parents. Except Alex's parents didn't show up. It was his aunt, and she almost looked like a clown. She was definitely creepy. Her name was Gladys, and she was basically saying that his parents are very ill and couldn't come to the conference. And this is where things start to spice up. We switch to Alex's POV. So Gladys, his aunt, was supposed to come live with the family for a couple months while she was, kind of passing away. She wasn't doing well health-wise, and she needed a place to stay, and she needed someone to look over her. She did have a wig. She did put on a lot of makeup, but when she didn't have that stuff on, she was very ill, and she looked very sick. One day after Alex gets home from school, he comes in, and his parents are both sitting at the table just staring at each other with beet red eyes, and the aunt is on the other side of the table. And in this scene, we see that she has some power over them. She has a tree branch, like a little stick, where she wraps a piece of their hair around the branch, and they start poking themselves in the face with a fork. Now, Alex doesn't know what to do. All he wants is his parents to talk to him, and it's not happening. The aunt basically says to Alex, you may not tell anyone about this, and you have to go to school and come right back home. So day after day, Alex would do this, coming home. She wouldn't allow him to eat. And in this moment, we find out in that house, the 17 kids that went missing are all in the basement, all under the same spell that Gladys put the parents under. So Alex's job essentially was to make sure they stayed alive. So essentially, when Paul, if we're going back to Paul, when he answered the door, she was just talking to him nicely and then got him to come in, and then that was it. It's Justine and Archer, and they're trying to find Paul. They go to Alex's house, and Paul's car is still parked in front, and they end up making their way in. Except for this time, Gladys was ready. So during this time, she has Paul, the parents, all the kids, the criminal that Paul had, all as like an army. So when they enter the house, there is salt lines that she put where if someone steps over the salt line, that the closest person starts to attack them. I don't get it. This is where like the movie really turned me off, I guess. And so while all this is going on, Justine is getting attacked by like this zombified, witched Paul, and she ends up having to shoot him in the head, killing him instantly. And Josh Brolin is being attacked by the criminal, where Justine also kills him too. Justine heads upstairs while Josh Brolin character Archer goes downstairs. Now, remember what I said, downstairs is where all the kids are. So he's looking for his son. He's going kid by kid. It's a real dark scene. There's no lights. Not him, not him, not him, not him. And the camera pans, and it's the aunt. It was a pretty cool jump scare. She had no wig on, no nothing. It was just like her bald head with a few strands of hair, and it was really creepy. So she's attacking him. He's trying to stay alive. There's a lot of commotion going downstairs. The kids are all still stationary. Justine's going upstairs to go help Alex, who is stuck in the parents' bathroom. The parents are trying to attack Alex, just clawing at the door. Now, Alex was smart enough to grab a branch and a piece of her wig, and he wrapped it around the branch, and to ignite whatever spell it was, you have to break the branch. And so when he breaks the branch, all the kids downstairs run to go get Gladys. At this point, I'm fully invested. I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool. Like, let's see what happens. And then randomly, it just starts to be really comedic. She's running through like different homes and stuff. It's like just silent. People are laughing in the theater. I'm like, when did this turn to a comedy? Moral of the story: the kids all end getting to Gladys, and they actually like really gory scene, rip her apart, like her mouth, her ear. It's disgusting, but I guess it was a good ending. So when Gladys dies, everyone who was controlled, the parents, the kids, they all just come to a complete stop. Archer goes over to his son, hugs him, and no one's speaking. The narrator pans into like the audio and basically says that some of the kids even could speak again, implying that some didn't and they were under this witchcraft thing forever, or like in just like a trance the whole time. And it just didn't sit right with me because the movie just ended. It just ended. My out of theater like reaction to that was just like, what? There was no why or how, or like that just didn't make sense to me. One of my friends, Jenna, who I saw the movie with, she actually brought up a great point. The narrator of this whole movie was a little girl. So when the narrator said some of them even got to speak again, that can be implying that she was one of the little girls. But we don't know. It's up for interpretation. Who knows? I just don't think things were explained well, and for that reason, I'm sticking with my out of theater score that I posted on TikTok, a 7.9 out of 10. So yeah, like that movie was okay. I definitely recommend it if you want to go see it, but again, I just don't understand how they couldn't explain more. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like, subscribe, and I hope you grab something on the way out. I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.